Greetings. Welcome to welladjustedliving.com. And today we're going to talk about developing your support system. And I can't think of a better way to develop your support system than joining my support system as a subscriber to this channel. All right, so let's talk about your support system, what it is and how to further develop it. A support system prevents isolation. It protects against circular or endless loop thinking, and it creates real-life, real-time feedback regarding your thought processes and behavior. Starting with family and friends, a support system becomes your human social network for sharing and thinking out loud and constructing and, when necessary, deconstructing your life. Support from others and given to others ensure that we stay on course and that we help others do the same. Support systems provide us an audience and a sounding board to hear inner thought expressed. It reminds me of a client who long had this dream of going to the mountaintop and sitting with the guru and getting the meaning of life. And he said, well, one day I could see that wasn't going to happen, so I just had relationships instead. There's a lot to say there because our relationships and our support system have a lot to say about how we're doing in life and with our life and where our life is going. So support systems foster growth in three main ways. They encourage accountability for our actions. And secondly, others act as our audience and sounding board. And finally, they express our inner thoughts and generate feedback. Very important aspect of our support systems. Other people provide much needed perspective, though we can never lose sight of considering the source. So as an example, if you're the type of person who starts activities but never finish, your support system can help keep you on track by inquiring casually how your activities are coming along. Like, how are you doing with building that new garage? So a support system enhances accountability beyond yourself for the behaviors, the actions, goals that you have. In the gym, we have what are called spotters, and they help us lift the weight without the weight hurting us, because the weight could be very heavy and we may not be able to do it by ourselves, so we need help or a spotter. So my question then, who are the spotters in your life? Now, we get support on many different levels and in different ways. I've been going to the same gym for years, so I know a lot of the people there and vice versa, and we're very supportive of each other. And a lot of it has to do with what we're working on and working out, and sometimes I'll ask them, I need a boost today because I'm not really motivated or enthusiastic, but I got to get in there and get it done because I know the benefits and I want to keep up. So it serves a great purpose, and I try to inspire where and when I can. But the relationships are primarily superficial. They don't involve stuff much outside of the gym necessarily, but they are an important part of my support system. So we all have these little niche support systems in our life. But on the larger scale, the more intimate and complex and engaged scale, you have people in your support system who care about you, yet are not overly invested. And I know that's a fine line. And they bring wonderful objectivity to your life because they ground your ideas and they provide realism. This allows pre-testing our thinking and our behavior because someone can confront us on the unattractive behavior or the faulty thinking. Good listeners help us release feelings so we don't otherwise obsess on them. We can get them out of our minds. Otherwise, our mind can't do anything else. Now, we always have to consider the source. We all have our own agendas and motives. And true self-possession as a person is knowing what they are at any time in your life. And this really comes out when we talk to others. So we always, always, always have to consider our source. And when our support system turns backwards and it's not moving forward, it's moving backwards, it starts to turn into what I like to call victim story group. And rather than fostering growth, it manufactures mayhem because it's reinforcing everybody's problems. And it turns into a group pity party. And expressing feelings is valid and worthwhile, but the work really begins after that point. The problem solving, the self-discipline, that's got to dominate. That's got to come into play. Otherwise, we're stopped before we get started. And I don't know if you've noticed this in life, but I certainly have noticed that most people's free advice is crappy, but their paid advice, very spot on, very focused, much better quality. New relationships and the evolution of your support system, they reflect how you are now doing. And are you doing better than you used to do? Because they're a hallmark of measurable development. Now, there are those who believe that psychology is generally a soft science. Hard to measure, what is happiness, what is depression, what is self-esteem, how do I measure these things, as opposed to what someone called a hard science, like chemistry and biology and physics, where it's very measurable and definable and objectifiable. I would offer that there are some absolute proofs of growth as a person. And one of them is better quality relationships and a more ongoing, nuanced support system. That is absolute proof positive you're moving forward. And the ability to be connected with other people. And that's a very personal thing, how much connection you require or desire. And that has a lot to do with lifestyle. It's, to me, a blend of lifestyle and personality. In other words, somebody could have a job, say, in retail, and they're around people all day long. And it's lots of real short moments of interaction, very superficial, kind of chatty, which is fine. And maybe for a lot of those people, when they're off work, they just like to have more time to themselves so they can kind of rest and recover from being with a lot of people. And some people don't like to be with people much at all. And some people have a few close friends, and that's enough for them. So it's something we each have to decide for ourselves. What is our support system? And for me, if I were to compartmentalize it a bit, I have a lot of interest in the body and movement. So, of course, I go to the gym. Of course, I have relationships with people that have to do with movement and working out and running and this, that, and the other. And then I'm very engaged with nature, and I practice permaculture, and I grow a lot of my own food. So I have relationships with people that support that. I'm also very interested in the creative process and being a musician and a writer, and other relationships with those kinds of people. So I understand what my needs are, and I seek to facilitate the engaging and growth and hopefully the non-stagnating of them by having relationships with other people and acting as a mutual support system to each other. It's just such an important part of being human. And it changes as we go through the lifespan. And there's absolutely something to be said for the fact that relationships take time. And you only got, well, as we know, 168 hours a week, and that's before sleep. So we have to choose wisely. And this isn't even to mention the quality of what it's like to be around the people we're around. And are they pulling us up to higher levels of functionality and sustainability, or are they dragging us down? Or are we dragging them down? See, sometimes we have to leave people, let go of people. Sometimes people have to let go of us. Well, it's very humbling, but it's also very true. So, let's have a little homework, because that's true too. And the homework is today, let's consider your support system. And if you're of a more advanced age, let's say at least 30, you can see relatively easily how your support system has evolved over the years. And where is it now? And how could you improve it? And going back to a prior video about asking good questions, where are the connections? And on what subjects do you want to make with other people? Put them in the comments below, and we'll try to hook you up. All right? And like and subscribe the video so you can support this channel. I really support you in doing that. And here's to you having a blessed day.